Welcome back to a new episode of the Leading Yourself podcast. Can you believe that we are already in November? As I was getting ready to record today's episode, I realized that for many of us, this month kicks off what can be one of the most wonderful yet overwhelming times of the year. Between the gatherings, the shopping, the endless to-do list, it's easy to feel like we're just trying to keep up. But today, I want to explore a different way, a more mindful approach. Today's episode is all about finding that balance and giving ourselves permission to make this season what we truly want it to be. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. Yes, we are in November already. That means there's only less than 60 days left in the year. Less than 60 days. When I think about that, I already feel a little bit stressed. I don't know about you, but my to-do list is 3 miles long and keeps growing. And then we have all the gatherings and the shopping and the celebrations and all the things that go with the holidays, that just thinking about all of it, we can already feel stress. The other day, I heard this quote that says, "The time to relax is when you don't have time for it." And that resonated so deeply, especially now this time of the year. But what I've learned is that a little prep now can create that much needed breathing room later. So today, I want to tackle some ideas to make the next 2 months a little less stressful and a lot more joyful. And we're going to be focusing on time management for the holidays. I'm not talking about necessarily work. We still need to get all of those things done, yes. But what I feel, and maybe you can relate to this time of the year, when I realize there's only 60 days left in the year, I'm thinking about, on one hand, all the things that I need to do at work, all the things that I want to close out before the year ends. And I'm not the only one. Probably all my peers, my stakeholders at work, my clients, they all are thinking the same thing. And probably they're going to need of my help to get their things done, just like I need of their help to get things done. So it just doubles down, right? The amount of work that is required and the time that is demanded of us to close the year, work-related stuff. But then on the other hand, it's the holidays, the gatherings. We tend to travel for the holidays because all our family is out of the country. So the travel plans, all of those things, right? And thinking about, there's only so many days left. There's holidays in between, all the things I need to do at work, all the things that I need to do associated with the holidays in my personal life. It's like the perfect recipe for burnout. And now we are in a time where we can prevent that from happening if we plan a little bit ahead. So that's why I want to share a few strategies on how to deal with the holiday piece of this equation. Because what tends to be is, because we're so absorbed at work, we leave all of these things like buying the gifts, the shopping, planning for the gatherings, all of those things to the last minute. And what ends up happening? That our emotions going through the holidays are emotions of stress rather than joy. And this year, I want to make this holiday season less stressful and more joyful. And here's my recipe for it, and I thought I'll share it with you as well. So let's start with this idea of protecting our calendars. So often we look up and find our schedules packed with events and obligations and commitments. And while it's great to connect and celebrate, it's just as important to have space for the things that mean the most to us. Think about it. How many holiday events are already on your calendar? Maybe you have holiday events at your kids' school, with your colleagues at work, with your friends outside of work, with your extended family. There's a lot of those that happen this time of the year. They're about to start. And then once they start, they seem to never end. So the first step is to take a step back and look ahead and spend a few minutes just mapping out all of those big events, all of those travel plans, all of those family gatherings. This isn't about just feeling every moment, but it's about getting clear on what's really there and intentionally carving out time for what you truly love. With only about 8 weekends left in the year, we want to prioritize those precious moments that brings us joy and connection. And it's about having the clarity of what it's there and also choosing, right? Remember that protecting your calendar isn't just about saying yes to the things that we love, but it's also about saying no to the things that don't serve us. So it's important to be really honest with ourselves about what truly matters and don't feel guilty about prioritizing what brings us peace and joy. Here's a tip that I want to share with you when looking at your calendar and protecting your calendar. I talked about rushing through the holidays and that creating a lot of stress, and that's how you experience the holidays versus experiencing the joy that comes with the holidays. Here's my tip, something that really helps me. Not only in my calendar, I have all those events and all of those gatherings, but I also block time now for things like holiday shopping, decorating. Even I put time for downtime. This, by setting aside this time, you protect yourself from overbooking yourself and from burnout. You get to look forward to those meaningful moments instead of just trying to squeeze them in, right? So these are things that we know we have to do this time of the year that we never plan for, and then we're rushing and trying to squeeze in and feel stressed. So plan ahead, look at your calendar, map everything out. And most importantly, even you can use color codes, like putting a certain color, the things that are a true yes, the things that really bring you joy. Putting a different color, the things that you're dreading. Are there any of those events that you're dreading to go, that you're going just out of commitment, not because you really want to go? And it's okay to say no to those. Don't feel guilty for protecting your time and protecting your joy. Okay, let's talk about also making room for yourself. The holidays can bring joy, but they also tend to drain us, especially when we're constantly giving to others and leaving no time for ourselves. It's so easy to get caught up in everyone else's needs that we overlook our own. But here's the thing. One thing that I know for true, and I live by it. If you're running on empty, you can't fully show up for others. So let's prioritize some quote unquote me time. Yes, I'm making air quotes. That's what I said that. Take a look at your calendar and ask yourself, where's the time for me? Maybe you set aside a couple of hours each week from now until the end of the year just for you. This can be a time for you to relax, to exercise, even to dive into a good book. Do something for you that helps you refuel and recharge. Think of it as an anchor. Those moments where you recharge and check in with yourself. For me, some of those anchor moments are the time that I spend in reflecting about the year that we're about to leave behind, or the time that I spent planning for the year ahead, the time that I spent doing my vision board for next year. Those for me are that me time at this time of the year that really helps me recharge, that energize me. So I make sure I put them on my calendar and I protect that time. And talking about protecting that time, here's a practical tip. Treat those times that you carve out for yourself as an appointment. Put it on your calendar as if it's a meeting with someone important, because the truth is, honestly, it is. These little moments can help you stay grounded, help you reduce the chances of burnout. Boundaries like this make all the difference, especially as we move into this busy time of the year. When you prioritize me time, you're setting yourself up to enjoy more the gatherings and not just get through them. Okay, moving on, let's now tackle planning ahead to reduce that last minute stress. We talked a little bit about this already. The holidays often come with extra to-dos. Shopping, decorating, cooking, traveling, you add to the list. And if we leave everything for December, it can turn into a whirlwind of stress. One way to avoid this is by breaking things down into smaller, manageable chunks. For instance, if you know that you're going to have a long list of gifts to buy this year, try tackling a bit of it every week rather than all at once. Because then what happens? You maybe carve out one day to do all the shopping, and then you're stressed out because you don't know what to buy for every person. You don't find what you were looking for. Break it down. Do a little bit every week. Not only does this spread out the cost, but it also takes out the pressure. It's really a win-win to break it down in smaller chunks. Same goes for holiday cooking and travel prepping. Another one that you can break down, right? Consider dedicating a weekend to prepping meals, or setting aside a specific days for shopping, or to prepare for packing. And don't be afraid to ask for help. That's another thing that I've learned. I used to be the one that thought that I needed to do it all. And I don't. I really don't. Family members, friends, get them involved. Even if it's just wrapping gifts or helping decorate, whatever it is, sharing the load can transform those tasks from stressful obligations into enjoyable moments. Because one, you're reducing the stress, but also you're doing it with someone else. And doing these things with someone else always makes them more fun. Another thing you can do is to set reminders on your phone or your calendar to keep yourself on track. Consider checking off a few things each week. That way, you also have this feeling that you're making progress and you have the feeling that you're in control. And that really helps to reduce the stress. By the time the season is in full swing, you'll have more energy to enjoy it instead of feeling overwhelmed. Okay, lastly, let's reflect on what we want for this season. The holidays are meant to be a time of connection, reflection, of joy, not just checking items of a list. So let's make time or take time, a few moments to think about, what do we really want for this time of the year? For me, one thing that I like to do is to close my eyes and picture the ideal holiday season. What does it look like? Maybe it's more downtime, more meaningful connections with family, or doing something that you love but never seem to have time for. Visualizing it can allow that intention to really guide the choices that we make as we move forward. I always think that visualization is such a powerful exercise, and it has its place here and now as we enter this time of the year. For me, when I'm planning for the holidays and I'm thinking about what are we going to eat, what decorations, all of the things, I just try to close my eyes and visualize how I would like it to be. And then I plan for that. It helps like a compass, right? It helps like a way of guiding my choices of, no, that doesn't fit because it doesn't fit with my vision. I'm going to say no to that because that is not in my vision, or I'm going to say yes to that because that supports my vision for the holidays. So visualizing what you really want. And I would say beyond how things look, beyond what you're doing, I want to reinforce the fact of visualizing or getting clarity or thinking about how you want to feel. Because after all, we're after chasing feelings in life. So how do you want to feel this holiday season? And then can guide your choices of what you do to evoke those feelings during the holiday season. Now that you visualize it, you can jot it down in the form of intentions. This could be as simple as more connection, less stress, or prioritizing family time. These intentions will be your guide over the next 2 months, helping you make decisions that align with the holiday experience that you want. Remember, flexibility is key. Things don't always go as planned, but by staying connected to your intention, you'll handle surprises with a little bit more grace, and you'll stay a little bit more focused in what really matters to you. So it's not like, oh, I visualize this and it has to be this way. Allow space for flexibility, right? But the intentions, again, that you set for the holiday season are your compass that are going to help you make better choices and better decisions about how you spend your time, how you show up, how you connect with others, how you live and enjoy the holiday season. So, as we close out, let's recap. Protect your calendar for the things that you love. Make time for yourself. Plan ahead and reduce that last-minute stress. And set clear intentions for a meaningful holiday season. 4 steps. 4 steps to reduce the stress, have a more balanced and joyful holiday season this year. Now take a few moments today to look at your calendar and protect some time for yourself and the things that matter most. This simple act of preparation can set the stage for a holiday season that feels joyful, peaceful, and truly fulfilling. I love to hear what you're setting time aside for this holiday season. You can share it with me by tagging me on social media, and I can't wait to see how you're bringing more joy into this season. Thank you so much for joining another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast. Here's to a November and a December that are filled with moments that you truly love. I'll see you next time here for another episode of the podcast. Take care. Okay, my friend, that's all I've got for you today. But before you go, 2 quick reminders. Number 1, if we're not already friends on Instagram, let's get connected. You can find me as Leading Yourself Podcast. Number 2, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am incredibly grateful that you're in this journey with me. I want to leave you with one last thought. I want to remind you that you're destined for more and that every step that you take brings you closer to becoming that best version of yourself. Embrace each day as a chance to learn, grow, and chase your dreams. The world needs you to shine brightly, so go out and show up fully and authentically. Take care, and I'll see you next time.